Happy Wednesday. This is Lynn from DevineCentral, and I am here with your weekly Wednesday tarot mailbag reading. Earlier this week, I got a letter from Lisa. Lisa is from one of my many groups, and she wants to be a full-time tarot person. And she sent me this lovely letter that's extremely detailed and talks about her whole history and then what her issues are. But in order for us to, all of us to wrap our heads around it, I hope I do right by her, I took the liberty of summing it up. So here's what we have to work with today. Ready? Okay. Lisa is 53 years old and she quit her job in December because she wants to go full-time tarot and tarot instructor. She picked up her first deck when she was 21 years old. She's had a lifelong interest in tarot and been around it for, I'm sure, most of her life and in and out. Recently, she went through tarot training. She put herself through training and coaching, and but she just didn't feel like it was enough, like she was finished with that and really ready to strike out on her own. So she kind of went searching for other people, and that's, I call it searching for your tribe. We've all done it. And she managed to find a couple of places to go, that one of which is a group I'm in that has really been beneficial to her. So her history, or her backstory, is she started in the sales industry at a very young age, and she saw that for 20 years. She saw that through marriage, divorce, raising 2 kids on her own without any help as a single parent. She bought a house, paid for all the Christmas presents, probably put the kids through college. Now they're gone now. But at 40 years old, she kind of needed a change. And a family member who worked at a local prison said, with your personality and your authoritativeness, you should be a custody a custody officer at the prison. And she thought, what the hey? And she jokes how she traded in her high heels for work boots. And she did this job for 10 years, brought a lot of good programs to the prisons. And, she did a good job, and she showed her work ethic. But at 50 years old, she felt the calling again to move to something else. And through an odd turn of events, she ends up as a managing agent supporting vulnerable adults in that type of community. That was 3 years ago, and so she quit in December, and now she walked away. And she said that she's done some private readings, she's done some parties, she's got some events booked for this year, but she said she has not earned a great deal of money. And while she's still developing her tarot course, she's thinking about maybe having to go to college to get some type of a certificate for training. But she said she has this nagging feeling that reading tarot is not a full-time job for her. She feels guilty for being out of work right now. She feels guilty for taking the time off, even though she can afford to take 6 months off. She's just, her work ethic is making her feel bad that she's not, out there traditionally working her butt off, right? So my question is, do I continue to pursue tarot, or should I go back to full-time employment and bring back tarot as a pastime hobby? Now, that's really a simple A and B question, right? Do I do A? What happens if I do A? What happens if I do B? I like those questions. But, I want to do it. I'm just going to do a Celtic cross. I'm going to do my regular reading just because there's just so much history and background and, stuff going on. And I just really want to give it, let's see. Sorry. I really just want to give it something of, it's just some depth, I guess, and some, I don't know, something to bring it all together other than just a simple A or B. So I'm going to switch cameras here. I am using Morgan Greer Tarot. This is I bought this deck. This is my first deck. I have 53 now. This is my first one. I bought this in 1980. I won't tell you how old I was then. Anyway, it's a first edition, and I don't use it hardly at all anymore because it's a kind of a collector. I don't want to, I want to keep it it's just in really good condition, and I want to keep it that way. But she deserves this reading, so this is what I'm going to use today. All right, are we ready to go? I've already shuffled. Let's start with the subject matter at hand. This is the obstacle. Here is our foundation. Here is our, this is the energy that's leaving. This is what's going away. This is what's on her mind. This is what's on her consciousness. Here is our short-term, future. This is what's coming up. And then the way I do it is, these are my messages from Spirit. The staff to me is that. And this is what she can do to sabotage herself. This is the environment over which she does not have control. This is what controls her. We have advice from Spirit, and then we have the final outcome should she continue on her current path. Okay? Remember, we all have free will. We can all change that if we don't like the direction we're going. Last card on the deck is going to be last word from Spirit. So are we ready to go? Let's do this. Okay. The Hierophant. You know, it's really interesting that this card would come up. I see this card in a number of different ways. First, I see this card oftentimes as institutions. I see this as the workforce. Often the Hierophant has always been he's been the master of a small domain of people. So his flock, right, or his congregation, or the department head of a company, or the business owner of a very small business. But he is like a big fish in a small pond, okay? But he can also, this could also, because it can be about work and profession. It can also be about revisiting a profession. So it's a possibility that going back to work can be an issue, but this is the subject to me more. It's not a divination card. It's more of a, hey, here's the crux of the matter. And to me, just the fact that this card came up and she's looking at, do I revisit my past professions? That kind of validates to me that Spirit, heard the question and it says, hey, I'm here. So listen, this card also, it's all about conformity, and it's about not stepping outside the bounds, doing everything in a very traditional way. It's about not making any dramatic changes right now, and or finding a systematic approach to something. And I think that might be what Spirit's telling her is, hey, you know what? You can have that same systematic approach that has taken your work ethic and made you so successful. You can apply that, to esoterica, So I think it's really interesting because that kind of comes up. And I think that because it's a Hierophant, this is the key to her situation. Now, oftentimes the Hierophant can be Mr. Guilt Trip too. He wants to make us believe that it's his way, or, it has to be done. Everything has to be done in a certain way. You have to work a full-time job and take home a paycheck in order to, to not be screwing off. And it's just not the case, She's just not used to not working in a standard, everyday, traditional job. Okay, so what crosses her for good or bad, let's call it the obstacle, is this is the Knight of Wands or Rods. And the Knights are always extremely, they're very busy. They're the action figures of the deck. They're on the move. And this is about passion. This is about moving forward with this thrust of passion. And that's the obstacle, because I think, in some way, because I think that she has this passion, but it's like she's afraid to move forward with it. So just that moving forward, that piece of moving it can be the obstacle. So where does this, what's the foundation of this? Well, you know what? This is I guess your camera's right here, right? This is the Four of Cups. Now the Four of Cups, oftentimes we see this as apathy, right? We see this as the hand of God himself is reaching out of the heavens and offering us this wonderful gift, and we don't even see it. But in this particular deck, she's had 3 main jobs her whole life, and she's been extremely successful at all 3 of them. And now she has this opportunity. But you notice how these 3 cups are grounded, and this one isn't. This one's up in the air. So I don't think it's as much that she doesn't see it, and she's not interested in something new or more than what she has. I see it as she's waiting to to see how it's going to pan out. She's waiting to see whether or not it's the right thing to do. Oftentimes when people are, interviewing for jobs, they say, you know what, this isn't the right job. I want to wait for the next one to come along. I want to do the right thing by myself. So I think that maybe she's even being smart, she's sitting back and saying, hey, I want to, the foundation is, do I take that? Do I grab that cup out of thin air, or do I go back to traditional? All right, so what's leaving her, the energy that is leaving her? We have the King of Cups. She has had a lot of support in over the years. She has had the support of bosses and parents and all kinds of other people in her life that have, been that emotional support system and championed her cause as she goes forward. And, I think she senses and feels like that's going to be going away, because esoterica is not necessarily something that people have, they enjoy getting their heads around in the beginning. I think once she shows how successful she will be at it, then I think that might be a different story. But for now, she has that energy that's leaving. And honestly, what's on her mind? What is she thinking about? We have the Seven of Swords. And, it's amazing. This is a card really of being tested. It really is. It can be about theft. It can be about, a deceit. And it's, sometimes other people are deceiving us, but sometimes we're deceiving ourselves. I like this card because you notice that he's slipping away. This is somebody who's on their own, who has to do this on their own. But this is somebody who's taking swords and slipping away. And swords, of course, we know are intellect, and it's our communication. And so this is someone who's not communicating, who's taking all their thoughts and everything. But he's leaving two swords behind. And why would he do that? Sometimes it's to level the playing field. Sometimes we're just taking back something that we feel we've lost, like our confidence or our self-worth, or I don't know, the bicycle out of our garage. Theft is theft, right? But sometimes we're just, sometimes people are stealing our thunder. Sometimes they're stealing our ideas. I see a lot of that in a work environment. But, I just worry that she's robbing herself mentally. She's robbing herself of this wonderful new avenue. It's easy when we're 20 or 30 years old to just go off and change directions. Not so easy once you hit your 50s and 60s. But I would say, Lisa, don't rob yourself of an opportunity before you even know if it's going to take place. As far as your near future, we have the Two of Cups. And I got to tell you, to me, the Two of Cups is about two people. It could be about two lovers. It could be about, it could be a mother, daughter, a boss, employee. It could be two business partners. It could be your best friend. It doesn't have to be about romance, but it's about kindred spirits. And it's about two people coming together and having something very strong between them that drives them forward, whether it's love or commitment for a charity or a job, or just a mother's commitment to her daughter to see her through her life, or whatever it is. But it's about two people. And so since this is coming up in your near future, I have a feeling, and I know that you've been trying really hard to find your tribe. I have a feeling that somebody is going to be coming along that is going to break this whole thing kind of wide open, okay? And I think it's going to be, I think they're going to help you get over that hump. I think they're going to help you understand whatever it is that you're missing, because you're missing some piece. And boy, I can relate. I was there. I've been exactly where you've been. And it does... you do figure it out. You really do. But I think it's going to be someone that's going to help you figure it out. You're going to find that one person that you needed, that you haven't found so far. So what are you going to do to sabotage your situation? Well, we have the Knight of Swords, okay? And this is about, You know what? This is just about just feeling so pushed and so rushed that you don't make good decisions. And I would say, you've got this forward momentum that you feel the need to ride, but it's scary, and so you're kind of backing up. And this is just somebody else pushing you farther and farther into outside of your comfort zone. And you are going to have to get somewhat outside of your comfort zone if you want to be successful at this business in order to learn it. But you know what? You don't have to do it all at once. And so I think it's saying you need to slow down. You need to not feel pushed into something that you're not ready for. Go ahead and step one foot, one knee, one thigh, then bring the other one over. You can do that. It's okay. What's the environment around you? Well, you know what? We got the Chariot, and I'll tell you, that's another 7. You've got a couple of 7s here. 7s are about being retested, tested and retested. This one's about, not robbing yourself of a full opportunity. But this one is about taking these horses by the reins. You've got 2 different directions you're being pulled in. But, unlike almost all the other cards in my whole, bookshelf over there, this is the only one where the Chariot actually has reins. You actually have reins here, and you can steer this puppy wherever you want it to go. And if you want to do tarot, then you can do it. You're just going to have to pull from all of your history and make this thing happen. That's all there is to it. You're going to have to get organized. And I will tell you the one thing that I love. I read this in a book recently. I just love this. The Chariot is akin to leaving your car, leaving on a trip, right? You pull your car out of the driveway, and you're going on a trip. Now you have 2 choices. You can either sit in the driver's seat and you can guide that car where you want it to go. Or you can crawl over in the passenger seat. You can let somebody else drive. But you know what? Then you can't bitch when you don't like the destination. You don't like where you end up. Because you weren't willing to be a part of it. You weren't willing to take on that challenge of being the guiding force. So I think it's saying you need to be the guiding force. Okay, I'm going to change cameras back here just so you can see the rest of these cards. So what is advice from Spirit? Advice from Spirit, we get the 8 of Swords. And I think that what Spirit is trying to tell you is, this is my stinking thinking card, okay? This is where all these swords are. These are your thoughts, okay? These are the things you're bringing. Oh, this isn't going to work because of this. That's not going to work because of that. This is a lot of just negative thinking. Sometimes we can just get so darn negative that we literally victimize ourselves. So, you know what? Is it going to be tough? Yeah, things are tough when they're good. Things that are worth working for are worth fighting for and are worth, trying to get over the heebie-jeebies of it all. But when you have negative thoughts, you bring negativity to you from the universe. So you can't come up with good solid solutions like this. So I see a lot of this. It's like you're afraid to move forward, and you have everything available to you. You just have to do it. So if you keep going in the way you're going right now, you're hemming and hawing and not being able to make a decision. I'm sorry, I hope that wasn't that way very long. There you go. You're having to make a decision. You're just going to end up staying right where you are. You're not going to grow, and you're not going to move, and you're not going to be challenged. It's if you can't find a better way of looking at this, if you can't find a way to change your course so that you are making more money and that you are finding a way to make this business pay for you. All right, so what is the last word from Spirit, or what? Anyway, last word or whatever. Hey, we have the Ace of Swords. Okay, so here's the thing. You have an opportunity to move forward, but you need clarity, right? And you're going to need to sit down, and you're going to need to get real with yourself on this opportunity. You need to approach this just like you did when you worked full-time anywhere. Every problem that you came up with, you solved. You found a way to solve the problem. You looked at it in just a different way, and you managed to level the playing field every place you went. You had that support. You're going to have it again. But you know what? You are the one stopping you. You're the only one that's standing in your way. And you have this wonderful opportunity of a new beginning, but you got to take the reins, my dear. And you need to be the one to push this whole thing forward. Now, that said, there are, in the realm of tarot readers today, there is a very small percentage that really make enough money to do it full-time, or that are trying to do it full-time. There are some amazing marketeers in this arena, and they are out there full in force. I'm thinking of Connect with Your Deck on Etsy. I'm thinking of Jenna Matlin. I'm thinking of the previous Queen of Wands, who is now just Jenna Matlin. I'm thinking of Christiana Gaudet. And there's so many, but they are wonderful marketers, and they're putting out content. They're putting out, they're in every social media network. They all work their patooties off. And I'll tell you, if you don't think this isn't a full-time job plus, I promise you that it is, if you're going to be successful. So, I think that you can use that same approach that you used in traditional business to lift yourself off the ground. And I want you to keep looking for your tribe, because you haven't found the whole tribe yet. You found some of us, but you have not found the whole kit and caboodle yet. You have somebody coming that is really going to just bust this thing wide open and help you find that thing, or that one place that you need to be to finally pick this up off the ground and go with it. So I wish you terrific luck with this, and I think that it's a wonderful calling, and you should follow the call and keep in touch. And thank you for the question, and we'll see everybody next Wednesday. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.